Hello everybody, I'm Coral. Welcome back to my channel. I'm here with a oh my god. I'm here with a video. Is this how it's going to be today? I feel like yes. I feel like this is how it's gonna be. Whatever, I can't do anything about it. Anyway, I'm here with a video where I'm going to talk about some of the goals that I made for myself at the beginning of the year and how I've done with them. Normally, I would save this video for closer to the end of the year, but when I do that, it just gets so chaotic with my filming schedule and I just can't fit everything in, and then I forget things and I miss things, and I don't want to do that. So I've completed most of the goals that I plan on doing this year. I mean, there's none here that I'm going to be able to like scrape together and finish quick. So this is just where it sits for this year, I think, and that's all right. I've probably only got like 2 books left in me for the end of the year. So my 2 big goals that I wanted to complete this year were, instead of a hard book goal, I really wanted to try a hard page goal. So this is something where I gave myself a number of pages to meet this year. That was 35,000. I was hoping that it would encourage me as a reader to pick up bigger books that I might have, you know, overlooked or decided not this time, because, you know, reading bigger books takes a longer amount of time. And when you're trying to reach a book goal and you're very goal oriented, you might, you know, overlook those bigger books for more average size books. And I just have so many big books, and I really did see myself thinking, oh, this one's too big for this month. This one's too big for this month. And I don't want to do that. So I gave myself a page goal, like I said, and at this point in December, I've read 45,112 pages, which is 10,112 pages more than my goal of 35,000. So I've exceeded that goal. I'm really proud of myself. I think I will set my goal a little bit higher next year, but probably not to 45,000, because I guess I'll get into that when I talk about my goals for the year when I get to that video. I had a softer goal of reading at least 80 books. At least that's what I had written down, but then when I put things onto Goodreads, I said 85, and when I put things onto Storygraph, I put 85. But I guess it doesn't really matter, because I ended up reading, so far this year, 126 books. So I've exceeded that goal by at least 46. I'm sure it'll be maybe, I don't know, maybe I'll read like 128 by the end of the year, maybe 129. I don't really know, but I know that I've exceeded the goal. So by how many doesn't matter as much, I don't think. I had a goal to read more books from small presses, and I did pretty good this year. I read 23 books that were published by what I would call like indie presses, or that were self-published. There are some books that came from smaller presses, you know, some from like Leisure Books that's now defunct, things like that, where I don't really count those in my head as like an indie press, just because you could find those books at Barnes & Noble, really. And maybe not Leisure, because that's, you know, like I said, defunct, but they're not, I can find them at my used bookstore, you know what I mean? But however, I'm not going to find probably like Grindhouse books there, for example. So I read 23 really small press books, or independently published books. I have a goal every year. It's the same fucking goal. I'm really terrible at finishing series. But there were 7 series this year that I either finished or got caught up on, or continued on. Maybe I didn't finish the series, but I continued on my way to finishing the series. But also I did start a few series, so it is what it is. This one wasn't necessarily a goal, but something I wanted to do because it's fun. Hold on, my cat is getting into Christmas presents. Anyway, I wanted to remember to pick things from my star jar, because I've continued to fold stars for my TBR jar, and I actually went through them just a couple months ago and pulled out, because it's been forever since I even made that star jar. So I pulled out all the ones that I've read up to that point, and I have like a list of the books that I own, so I went through there. It took me like probably a week to do all that shit. For next year, I definitely want to make that a priority. I am really bad at like piling things on to myself and not giving myself much wiggle room, which is something I've realized in the last couple months that I definitely need. So next year I'm going to try it with my storage drawer again, because it's really fun and it does really help me pick books that I, you know, don't even think about. And it's like, why do I have these if I'm not even thinking about them? This will help with that. Next was my goal about reading bigger books. And in my opinion, a big book is anything over 400 pages, right? When you pick up that book and you're like, man, this is kind of long. That's about the 400 page mark for me. So I ended up reading 37 books this year that were big books, which is great. And that really helped with my page goal. I also wanted to make sure that I'm getting to the books that I'm pre-ordering or the books that I'm buying that are, you know, only a couple months old. And I read 36 books that I had either pre-ordered or I had bought that were, you know, newly released in the past couple months. I really can't think of many that I bought that were new released that I didn't read. So that's pretty good. Okay, this one I did not do very good with. I wanted to create a deficit in the books that I was bringing in each month and the books that I had already owned, like my own TBR. I wanted to create a deficit there. Books that, at least that I'm reading more than I'm bringing in, and that didn't quite happen, but I have consciously been trying to be more selective of what I buy, especially because when I log into things like thrift books, it's like, oh, this is here for $4 and I don't necessarily want to read it, but I know at some point I might want to, and I'll just buy stuff like that. And it's really, I mean, it's getting to the point where my bookshelves are, I only have a couple empty shelves, you know, and I don't know where else I'm going to put bookshelves in my house unless I want every inch of my house to be bookshelves, which I don't know if and not that I don't love books, but at that point, like, where is the rest of my life going to be? And also there are 2 other people who live in this house and maybe they don't want books every fucking where. Maybe, I don't know. Zach's he's pretty chill about it, but anyway, I did not do very good at that goal, but I did read 45 books that were books that I had owned previous to this year, which is pretty good. I think last year I had a similar goal and I maybe only read like 30, so that's better. But if you're, you know, considering that I read 126 books this year, that's not, I didn't even read half of the books, or what am I trying to say? I didn't even, oh my God. More than half of the books that I read were either new to me or, I don't know, I guess, you know, some of these were from the library, so maybe I shouldn't have counted those against me because I didn't buy them, but you know what I mean? It's just, I really need to focus on what I have and maybe not so much on what I don't, except for new releases. Those I, you know, definitely want to make sure I'm reading. Okay, and then this one wasn't a goal per se, but it was something that since I started really reading a lot, I know sometimes I feel reluctant to pick up books that I've already read before, especially because I have so many that I haven't read. And, you know, I wanted to reread some books this year. So altogether, I reread 11 books that I've already read. I'm proud of myself. Really, audiobooks have been a saving grace for that because I can think of 5 off the top of my head at least where I listened to the audiobook instead of rereading the book over again, and that was really great. I don't think any of those that I reread by listening to audio, I don't think I'd ever listened to the audio versions of those before, so it was just like a fun, it kind of brings something new to the table too, you know what I mean? Because I'm rereading a book that I liked and I wanted to reread, and it's in a different format and you get kind of a different feel from it because somebody's reading it to you. which was fun. So those were my 2021 goals and how I did with them. I like making goals for myself, and I think the last couple years I didn't really think about that when I was reading, which is okay, and it's okay if you don't make goals for yourself. But I really pushed myself to do things that I knew I could do if I tried hard enough. But I also didn't try to make myself do anything crazy, because I know if a goal is unattainable to me and I know that when I make it, I'm just not gonna do it. You know what I mean? So all in all, I think I did pretty well, and I guess I'm proud of myself. I don't know. I mean, these are just made up things for me. So I don't know. To everyone who's subscribed to me in this last year, or everyone who stayed subscribed to me, I would like to tell you thank you so much. It just it surprises me every time I log on to my YouTube page and I see how many people want to interact with me and watch my videos. It's just really, really nice, and I don't know, still I feel a little bit of imposter syndrome, I think, because it's like I'm just some person with opinions, you know what I mean? So I really appreciate those of you who have subscribed and who have stuck around and interacted with me. And even if you don't interact, that's okay. Just watching my videos definitely means a lot to me. So thank you. And I'd love to know if you guys had any book goals that you were able to achieve this year. Thank you again. I will see you in another video. Goodbye.